I'm Nikki Moore, author by the sea. I live in beautiful Dorset and I'm published by HarperCollins, most notably the Love London series, and also I have the charm bracelet coming soon under the pen name of Ella Allbright. Thanks for joining me today on the vlog. I hope that you're well and that you're staying safe. I know it's a really difficult time at the moment. Reading lots has been helping me, and I've also managed to get back to my writing, although still not writing as quickly as I normally would be. So it's just worth me saying before I go into the topic of the vlog this week that it's absolutely fine if you're not writing at all, or you're writing slower, or if it's really hard to concentrate, because we are living in very unusual times and there's a lot of worry and concern out there. So don't beat yourself up, and if you're not ready to write, then just come back to this vlog another time, or make notes of some of the tips and advice that I'm giving you and use it when you feel that you can. So hope that's helpful. I just want to say a couple of things first before I get into it. The first thing is just to say thank you to all the wonderful reviewers who have reviewed the charm bracelet on NetGalley. I've been incredibly lucky with my reviews, and I just really am thankful for people that read books and review them, because it really helps authors and publishers, and it's really about getting the word out there and letting other people know about books. So thank you for that. Also, just another thing to say that I'm still doing the hashtag, which is hashtag social distancing with my dog, where I'm posting pictures of our beagle puppy Luna, and it's really just to brighten people's day, so that not everything is about the dreaded virus and all the kind of the bad things happening in the world. And also I am running a weekly giveaway on my Twitter account, which you can see the handle up here. Do come and say hi and check it out. I'm running a giveaway every week for people to win an ebook of one of the Love London novellas. It's really easy to enter. You just find the tweet and you either retweet or like it, and you follow me if you're not a follower already, and then your name goes into the draw, and I use a random number generator to pick the winner or winners. So do go and have a look for that. So thanks for bearing with me whilst I just updated you and told you about those things. So the vlog is another creative writing one. So you'll know, if you've watched my vlog before, that a few weeks ago I did one around kind of writing effective beginnings and how to hook readers and agents and publishers, and some kind of tips around how do you write a beginning that's uncluttered and gets to the heart of the action. I then last week did one about saggy middles, which I do think still sounds like I'm going on about dieting or exercising, but it's about making sure that the middle of the book, the core of it, is tight and there's lots of action and lots of things happening to keep readers interested and invested. So this week's vlog is about writing satisfying endings. It is so important to make sure that your ending to your book is as satisfying as possible and leaves a reader with that kind of feel-good feeling. So a few things to think about here. One thing is, you need to make sure that the ending makes sense. By which I mean, is it coming out of left field, or have you laid enough clues in the book so that a reader is going to anticipate the ending? I'm not saying that you can't surprise readers, and I know a lot of the psychological thrillers, they talk about a twisty book with an ending you'll never see coming, and of course you want to think about the genre of the books that you're writing. And a lot of those psychological thrillers, or kind of police procedurals, or Hunt for the Serial Killer, it has got that twist. However, saying that, what normally happens is that the author has done enough work, they've laid enough, it could be quite light hints or clues, so that when they read that ending, even if they're surprised by it, when they then think back over the book, they think, actually, I can see that that could be the ending and that makes sense. You've got to be careful not to put a surprise ending in there just for the sake of having a surprise ending. You've got to make sure that it makes sense. So the other thing to think about is how you pull all the different threads together, by which I mean, think about the core elements of your plot and also think about subplots. So you might have a main plot, that revolves, say if it's a romance, it revolves around two main characters, the obstacles and the things and the external conflicts that have kept them apart, and then the internal conflicts or things that are pushing them together, and you know, you've got that kind of will they or won't they, how are they going to get together, because mostly in romance that's what you're expecting, you know, happy ever after. But you might have subplots as well where there's something around main character's career, you know, there are things happening for them, or there might be family issues or dilemmas going on, and there might actually be subplots that belong to quite minor characters, you know, secondary characters. To write a really good, satisfying ending, you've got to make sure that you bring all of those different elements together and you tie them off successfully, so that the reader has every question that you have posed in the book answered at the end of the book. I hope that makes sense. So the first thing is around making sure the ending is satisfying, and all the clues you've laid, you know, that everything finally makes sense and you've got the ending that a reader is expecting, or at least can make sense of. And then you've got this bit about pulling all the different threads together, making sure that everything and every plot point is accounted for. Because for me, there's nothing worse than reading a book where I get to the end and say, you know, that the core of the story is answered, I've got these two characters that have got together, but there's something that doesn't make sense earlier in the book, or the author seems to have totally forgotten about a subplot and hasn't actually, you know, hasn't answered the question they've posed, and I'm left thinking, well, actually what happened about that? Now, if that's deliberate and a subplot with, you know, some minor or secondary characters are left unanswered, if that's because you're going to go on to do a series and those characters are then going to become the main characters, that's fine, but you need to say so. You need to somehow get over to the reader, you know, the core story for these two people is over, they've got their happy ever after, and we're sticking with romance here as an example. If you've got unanswered questions about some other characters, you need to actually say to the reader, and X's story will be handled in, you know, title of the book, or there needs to be some wrap up, maybe in an epilogue, that makes clear that the story of those characters is continuing. So I hope that's useful. The other thing to think about is you want to make the ending so satisfying that the reader feels bereft, that the book is over. You know, they wanted the story to just go on and on. So I recently read a book called That Night in Paris by Sandy Barker. She's another One More Chapter author. That was the second in a holiday romance series. The first was One Summer in Santorini, which was also very good. That Night in Paris, it follows Kat and her new bus besties because they're on basically a European coach tour. And they visit all these wonderful cities and they build these friendships. And there is a love story at its core with a hero called Jean-Luc, who is a very sexy Frenchman. But you know, they build these friendships up, and there's lots of things happening for Kat and for her friends. And I actually didn't want the book to end, because I wanted them to just keep going with this endless holiday and see more cities, because I felt like I was visiting these cities myself because of how well the story was written. So when I finished That Night in Paris, I immediately wanted to keep on reading the next book, which I think is called A Sunset in Sydney, but that's not out till July, so I'm going to have to wait. That illuminates my point around you want to leave a reader wanting more. So when you end your book, you really want to create that sense of, I really didn't want that to end, I'm now going to have a book hangover, and I want to read the next book in this series, if it is a series. Or else you want them to think, oh God, what else has this author written? I have to find what they've written. And maybe they're going to go back and they're going to find your backlist. Or they're going to go forward and see what else is coming soon. So it's really important to get that ending as polished as possible and to make sure that it's really satisfying and captivates the reader. So that's really important. Do think about, if you're going to write a series, how can you set up some of the characters so that their story is going to be ongoing and the readers going to want to continue that journey with you. I hope that's been helpful. It is a bit of a shorter vlog today, but those are the key points about writing and ending. And the other thing I was going to say was that if you've written a synopsis for yourself and or for your publisher or an agent, and the story changes as you write it, because sometimes it does, it evolves and goes in directions you weren't expecting, don't feel that you have to stick to the ending that you wrote in that first synopsis. Don't be afraid to be flexible. You know, talk to your agent or publisher and say to them, look, actually I've got a better idea for the ending. And you might find that they're on board with you and that they like the ending as much as you do, and it does work much better. So be flexible and be willing to experiment and think about different endings. I hope that's been useful. Stay safe and well. Do self-isolate and take responsibility seriously. And have a lovely week, whatever you're doing. Distract yourself with lots of reading and take care. Bye.